Hi guys, I'm Nina.
I'm Jamie.
And I'm sleepy. I'm Ethan.
What is this, the Seven Dwarfs?
Well, I am.
I know.
Somebody kept me out all night.
For good reason.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm Ethan.
Oh, yes, and we're Bloody Essentials.
Oh, yes.
It's most important. But yeah, we're tired because we're recording this in advance by the time it comes out. But we were as of the recording, Ethan and I are tired because we were at the all-night horror festival, Dusk to Dawn, at the Midway Drive-In, and it was a great night. Made some awesome new friends and did some networking. It was a good time.
Shout out to Mike and Mia from Flashback Weekend. You guys always do things 5-star. Rock on. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you guys at Flashback. It's going to be a great time as always.
Yes.
So, thank you guys for just showing love to the horror community as you do. Yeah.
That's what makes the community great. One of the many things that makes the community great, but we have some great people making some amazing contributions to us horror lovers.
That's
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. Well, tonight is, as I'm sure you guys probably guessed, this is our Independence Day in America celebration, extravaganza, as RuPaul would say.
Oh, yes.
Well, happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
Your extravaganza is going well and nobody lost fingers this year.
Yeah, it'd be terrible.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it could be worse because they could be in this movie and getting all kinds of weird things happening to them. So
I just thought
there is worse
they could be in
things,
this movie. So
they could be watching this movie. You weren't gonna say it, but I'll
nope.
It's okay. So tonight, in honor of 4th of July, we're doing things a little bit differently. I thought it would be fun to do a film that doesn't get a lot of attention, but it is a good 4th of July film.
It is a 4th of July film.
No, it is a 4th of July film. She said it was a fun 4th of July film. She's a funny lady.
I think it would be fun if, like, y'all are, you're around the campfire and you got this playing in the background and you're a little tipsy and you're laughing.
Okay.
I mean,
it's a little kooky, right?
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like, buddy system, whenever you're, like, around, like, other people enjoying a movie or watching a movie, it totally changes, like, the vibe. It makes it, like, more of an experience, right? So, like, if we all watched it together, now that would have been awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Roasting some marshmallows or something. Is that? I don't know if that's a 4th of July thing,
but it's a summer thing.
Guys, we could be together and I could watch paint dry and have fun with you guys.
Well, my gosh,
there's just something special about being able to get together with your friends and, like, riff on, like, shitty horror movies. Like, and this is one of them. Yeah, I know, Ethan. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You know what? I'm not sorry.
Yeah,
you're not, you bitch.
Well, it's a slept-on horror film, and I feel like we should draw more attention to the lesser-known films rather than, like, do Uncle Sam. Like, Uncle Sam's a great movie, but, like, everybody does Uncle Sam. Like,
it's true.
So
okay, it is a lesser-known slept-on, and it should say asleep. But go ahead.
So, in case you're wondering, tonight we are covering The Bay from 2012. And the reason why Ethan is upset is because it's a found footage film.
No. Because it's a horror movie. So
it's because it's a found footage film.
That didn't help.
It didn't help. I will say that. It did not help.
No.
I think it could have been good, but we'll get there.
I have thoughts as well.
I'm
sure we all have thoughts.
There's lots of thoughts.
Well, I think we would all agree that the issues with this film, like, I think we all agree that the same issues are, like, each of our problems with it, but we'll get there.
I'm sure. Yeah. I think we'll have similar issues that'll come up.
3 days ago and I'm still dizzy. So go ahead.
Okay.
Dizzy and sleepy. This is like this is the vibe that we're in tonight, guys.
Yes. I will say I've seen this movie 3 times now. I was probably, like, in high school when this came out because 2012 was my senior year. Yes, I'm aging myself.
You're aging me too.
I'm real glad that we're doing this through Zoom because I would slap you if we were in person. I'm just saying. And no, before either of you ask, I did not see it in the freaking theaters.
Yeah, you saw the preview and you're like, no.
You're like, I'm good on that.
You're like, no, they have camcorders. Yes, so this is the Bay. It is found footage. So I assume, Jamie, you've never seen this one before either, right?
This was a first time watch for me. I do kind of like, I kind of remember when it came out. I've seen it pop up before.
Yeah.
We'll get into it because like I have a whole thing about eco like terror kind of horrors. So,
Ooh.
but I'll save that. But
Okay.
no, I haven't seen it. It was the first time watch.
Okay, awesome. I just remember I kept seeing the poster for the film and I was like, this looks fun. Like, this looks like a lot of fun, right? Because it's like a skull.
Yeah.
So
I will give it that. The poster looks really fun.
Oh, the
poster is
poster looks
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
And the tagline, Jamie, because I know you love taglines.
I do.
It's panic feeds on fear.
That's a good one.
It's fitting, right?
Suddenly
Very
had
true,
fun
too.
writing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is our first night trying the new format. So if listeners, if you like it, let us know. If you don't, let us know. But like, we want to try more conversational versus strictly plot points and stuff like that. Like, we'll still have fun facts and everything, and we'll still talk about the movie, of course. But like, it's gonna be more conversational, which I think you guys seem to like. So
Yeah. Who doesn't like a good conversation with their bloody good friends about a horror movie?
Yeah.
It's very true.
Before we get started, though, I want to shout out our Patreon members, Rick, Swift, and David. Guys, thank you so much for supporting the show. It really means a lot to us. So,
You guys rock.
We
Yes.
appreciate you.
yes. Hope you guys have a very fun, safe 4th of July weekend. So,
Yeah.
yes. All right. So, let me talk about the synopsis of this film, and then we can discuss what we liked, what we didn't like, which I'm sure for Ethan is a much longer list, but that's okay. So this is a found footage film. Sorry. It's set actually in 2009, which I didn't realize, but it's fine. And it takes place in the town of Claridge, Maryland, on the Chesapeake Bay, which East Coast. And during the town's annual 4th of July celebrations, townspeople become sick, exhibiting a variety of symptoms, which leads local news reporters to suspect something has infected the water, which is always fun.
Yeah.
Especially during the summer holidays, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Make the water scary during this time because we all want to get in the water because it's hot. So
Yeah, yes, exactly.
That's
Especially if you ever experienced a New England summer. So
Oh.
yeah. So no one is sure what is going on, how this disease is being transmitted, but as people start to behave strangely and others are turning up dead, fear spawns into panic. Eventually, the town is shut down as government authorities confiscate video footage from every media or personal source they find in an effort to cover up what's really going on. And you know I love a good cover-up.
Oh yeah.
I love a good government cover-up.
I do too. But I'll get into
Fictional
it.
ones.
Right.
Just to be clear.
And I have another thought, but I'll save it.
Okay. And Jamie, I feel like this is like a tribute to you. We've got a local reporter, which is like our hero of the day, who witnessed the epidemic and was able to document, assemble, and hide this film until like it was safe to get it out. This film was created in the hopes that one day the horrible truth would be revealed. The government hid all of these facts from people, and like people died because of failure to act, basically. So yeah, that is what this film was about. So now let's talk about our thoughts.
Yeah. Who wants to go first? Ethan?
Okay, my biggest pet peeve that I hated with this movie. I know you guys are like, because it was found footage.
1, 2.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping track here. We're on 1.
Because it was found footage. No. Yes, I hated the fact that it was found footage because I hate found footage movies. Y'all know that that is what it is. You knew I was going to have an issue with that.
Yes.
The reporter.
Oh, you didn't like her?
As soon as she started talking, 30 seconds into the frickin' movie, I thought, I want to kill her. She was such a whiny little bitch. How they were doing this. And I was like, oh my God! Stop! It was an hour and a half of her. Oh my God! Look at that! Why were my pants so tight? What was I thinking? I'm like, oh my God! Please, this movie would be so much better if you just picked somebody else and put them in this role, or told her, I don't know, don't act like a little whining bitch.
I will say,
that was
I will. Okay, pause for a second. Let's digest this. Okay, let's walk through this together. So yes, I agree. I think the voiceover stuff, because there was a lot of it, right?
A lot.
Yes.
Every time I got invested in the story, she would start her voiceover narration. I was like I was starting to get into it. And every time I thought it was done and we were really going to get into it and get going, I was like,
yeah,
damn it. But like, I will say when she made the like thing about, oh, I wish my pants were too tight. I was like, I literally was having the same thought. And then she said it. And I was like, okay, we're glad we're on the same page there about the fashion.
She realizes.
Also, it is hot as balls and you're wearing pants. Whew. Ethan, we were talking about it the other night.
Yes.
I'm like, listen, how are y'all wearing sweatpants? Like,
oh,
right?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh,
no.
Can I expand upon this problem a little bit?
Please.
Not the pants problem, but I agree with you. Okay, I could go on forever about the pants problem. Okay, but I am gonna say, yeah, I thought the narrations kind of took away at points. But what I'll also say is my problem with this character and like kind of in general is I think the way that this movie was put together, they had way too many different kind of people for us to follow.
Yes.
But we never got a chance to really invest in anybody because of the way that it was put together. So we're kind of following the reporter. We're following this couple with their baby. We're kind of following the mayor a little bit. We're kind of following the cops a little bit. The
doctor,
the oceanographers, the CDC a little bit. We're following way too many. So I think more effective found footage movies, if you think about Blair Witch, we're following. Yeah, Cloverfield is a great example. You do feel invested in the characters because you have people to focus in on a little bit.
Yes.
We have way too many people to kind of try to follow in this where you have to I think for it to work, we would have had to really care about at least one person, really care about them. It just didn't work for me.
I think
100%.
I 100% agree with that, Jamie. I think that the people that they really should have focused on just the main focus should have been the couple with the baby, right? Because it's oh yeah, even if you don't have kids, you can empathize with that for sure. For sure. And that's the final big thing of the movie. But yeah, you can still have these other characters supporting you because yes, it's important to know about the oceanographers because that leads to this ultimately. And then it's also nice to know a little bit about what's going on with the CDC and the doctors and stuff. That's cool. And then occasionally sprinkle in the reporter. But it was constant guess what? Reporter here, CDC here, oceanographer here. And it's the oceanographer happened before. Yeah. And I'm like, why do we keep bouncing around? That is my biggest pet peeve with any movie, not horror, not just horror, but when you bounce around a lot and you got a lot going on and you're trying to get all this information across, I totally checked out. I'm
zoned out. Exactly. That was my second point for this. I'm there's just too much happening. It's look, squirrel, and I'm like, oh my God, wait, no, what happened here? Okay, the reporter now. I hated it.
And it's as soon as you start to care about one person, it shifts somewhere else, and you're and it's I understand if you're trying to recreate the chaos of this infection and shit and things are spreading, but you just made me not care completely.
Yeah. And there's a way I think that they could have done it differently where, because lots of movies we enjoy have various characters that you're following and you're invested in. But I just think the way that it was put together didn't work. I think they needed to, again, focus more on the character stories of the couple people. Like you said, the couple with the baby would have been perfect, or the reporter, that would have been fine. But again, just focus in on one or two character developments and then use the rest in a way to tell us what's happening to the town and everything else. But just the way they put it together, you just didn't get a chance to really connect or care about anybody too much.
Exactly. Yeah. And now I did recommend this movie. Hold on. I know everybody's like mad at me. I did recommend this movie because like when I first saw it like 15 years ago, I really enjoyed it. Now, my brain hadn't fully developed. Okay. I was still in high school.
Fair.
But like first time watching it, I really enjoyed it. And I don't know why it was I don't know why I was able to look all these flaws, because these are genuine flaws that I do not like in any movie. But like, and I'm bummed because when I rewatched it this week for this episode, I was really disappointed because I'm like, oh, I remember it being so much better. And I don't know what changed. Maybe I just got smarter and grew better taste in films, probably.
I remember it being so much better than the first time I watched it. When I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
So I will apologize because like I really thought that this was better than I remember. Like I thought it was better before I rewatched it. So I remember being really fun, like lots of like gore, and like it really did have some fun like makeup effects and stuff. But like, there
was some of that was good.
The story was good overall. I think it's the editing that was the real issue here. Like they just felt like they had to keep everything in.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad story itself.
It was a great story. It had a lot going for it.
The story itself was fine.
The way it was put together, no.
Yeah, I mean, the story, and I'll save it till we get to me a little bit more, but like I really like eco terror, I think is like got a lot of potential as a subgenre, but I found that overall those movies don't ever really like stick. I really want it to, because the environment's really important to me, and you can see like it's a realistic horror where you're like, oh, like there's basically like industry runoff in this river and it's polluting or in this bay and it's polluting things, and like that actually can happen. But what I think is the problem, like good story, so it's like good premise, like, you know, you have greed, you have like people's interests getting in the way of the good of the public, you know. I just feel like a lot of those core concepts aren't really like fully developed or have like a good payoff. Like even with the mayor, he should get it really bad, and he doesn't get it really bad.
He doesn't.
Right.
And
you don't get the payoff.
The people that do get it really bad are people you should have cared about so much at the beginning, because like they have the baby and everything, and like the mom is warning them not to get in the water, and they're like they're in the boat so they're fine, and like guys, like there's nothing more shocking than seeing a child in danger in a horror film, right? Like other than like an animal for me, but like so like this should have been a huge payoff, but like it wasn't. And it's purely because of editing, and I think that this film shows how important editing can be.
So. I was gonna say, I like a government cover movie when the people who deserve to get their comeuppance get their comeuppance, and I feel like the people who should have got their comeuppance didn't really get it.
Yeah, and my biggest thing, like if we're gonna have a government cover up, what's great about those movies, usually, like you were saying, Jamie, is that they do get their comeuppance, because in reality they usually don't. So like that's a big payoff in horror films, but unfortunately he didn't get anything. He didn't face any repercussions. So yeah, it was a bummer. Ethan, did you have another point?
Other than it just being I don't think that the acting was good.
I could agree. Yeah, there were a few moments.
I didn't think the actors were good. I was just like, is this a high school play? I mean, that's kind of what I got out of it. And I know. Yeah. Well, we'll get to. I'll say if there was anything I liked, but you know, because I just sound like I'm just beating this to death, but pretty much I am. So, but yeah, no, the acting was just. I thought the acting sucked. So
I think the reporter was definitely one of the worst.
Oh God, yeah.
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 Which is a bummer, because like she had so much potential.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
That's like you combine the acting with the fact that like we only get like a little chunks of time with each of these people. Yeah, it just makes it hard to connect again. Yeah. And the acting played into it too. It was a little stiff.
100%. Yeah. Jamie, did you want to talk about some eco horror examples
Yes, please.
and like who did it better?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, this is a subgenre that it's fairly small and it's real niche, right? Now, I will say, if you think about it, it kind of encompasses a few different kind of things. Like some people would throw just like nature terror into that, so like creature feature kind of movies. I am more thinking like, you know, there's like creature feature movies where the creatures are like a result of like genetic mutation or a result of something like that, you know, and that to me is more eco terror, right? So like the thing that I think is so interesting about this, it's so ripe for good storytelling and good horror, like it really, really is. But I think that it really rarely kind of like hits the mark. Like, and I don't know what it is about this subgenre that does that. I always want to really like an eco terror, and I'm always kind of like, it wasn't all that great. Like some of the examples I was thinking of, you know, Piranha, because I think they are genetically mutated or something like that. So there's Piranha. I always think of the Toxic Avenger. It's fun, but it's like, you know, he's a result of the toxic waste plant. So, you know, that is eco horror for sure. Or
and Uncle Lloyd can do no wrong.
Oh yeah, and Toxic
like it's a fun, it's a fun romp for sure. But it's not scary.
No, it's not. It's not scary, but he can do no wrong. He's awesome.
Oh, sorry. Love Uncle Lloyd. Yeah. No judgment.
I'm such a trauma girl, so I have seen every Toxic Avenger. I you know, I know some songs from the musical. Like it's awesome, and I definitely think of it as an eco terror, and that's probably my favorite one. But you know, I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Host. I think it's Korean, maybe.
I've seen it. Yeah, I liked it.
I really like The Host. Okay, I really like The Host. That's probably one of my favorite eco terrors because the creature is a product of you know, pollution basically, or contaminants or whatever. So even the stuff, you know, is kind of like, maybe you could think about it because it's like, you know, they harvest the stuff from the ground and like basically commercialize it, and there you go. You know, there's like The Ruins, kind of. I don't know if you guys have seen that one with the plants and everything. Yeah, I know it's not good. That's rough. So it's like I was really like racking my brain trying to think of some. There's some that I've read about that I haven't seen yet that I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Would
you know, that sounds cool.
Would we consider like nuclear disasters one? Because there's a whole other thing for that. Like, I mean, you've got Chernobyl and like the Crazies technically. So
the Crazies is a good one. Yeah. But overall,
the remake was a good one.
Overall, I think it's like a subgenre that's like, I'm disappointed that it's not stronger as a whole, because I think there's lots of opportunity there to make a good movie. Now, I don't think The Bay is the worst. It's not the worst eco horror I've ever seen, is what I was going to say.
Definitely not the best, though.
But it's not a great movie. But just kind of think it's interesting that there's no real ones that super shine for me other than like The Host and Toxic Avenger. So listeners, if you do know some, like there's some I haven't seen that seem pretty cool, let us know.
Definitely. Yeah.
Please tell us.
Because there's nothing more terrifying, I think, than like the world, like, you know, like your home planet like turning against you because of shit that humans have done. Like that's a real fear that a lot of people genuinely have, because it has been proven like climate change is real and all this stuff, and like we won't get into that, but like it's terrifying. And like we've seen cases where like water is polluted because like of like what you were saying, Jamie, like runoff, contamination, all this other stuff. Yeah, Flint, Michigan recently, and you know, you got the Aaron Brockovich movie that won Julia Roberts the award. Like that's based on a real thing, and but this movie is also based on a real event, and I'll get into that once Jamie's ready to.
So I mean, it does happen. I mean, there's a lot of industries that just by the nature of how they operate, you know, it uses up a lot of resources, or it produces a lot of contaminants.
Lots of waste.
Anyway, waste. There's lots of good areas there to play with, guys, and I still think Toxic Avenger did it best, and The Host, really good movie.
Yeah, for sure. Now this is kind of a fun fact that I thought was interesting. because as I was doing my research, I was like, well, let's learn more about like the motivation behind this movie, right? Because I think there's some good stuff here, but like we needed a new director. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but at one point near the beginning of the film, the CDC is talking to the doctor, and the CDC person mentions that, last year, back in 2009, there was a deadly fungal outbreak in Vancouver. That actually happened.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I did a little digging and I found the news reports and everything. So reports from February of 2008 indicate that there was indeed an outbreak of a deadly tropical fungus in 2008 in Vancouver, which apparently normally affects koala bears. Which is so weird. Like it's not normally found in Vancouver, but the fact that it somehow made it to Canada. And then from 2008 over the following 7 years, 60 cases were reported to the CDC from this fungus of people being infected. And of those 60 cases, 9 people had died in the reported outbreak. Now that's just people that like died with the fungus that didn't have any other outliers. Like there could have been other people that like had cancer or whatever other diseases that also happened to have the fungus, but like they couldn't determine which killed them first.
They couldn't isolate that it was
specifically killed them. Exactly. So if you think about it, 60 cases in 7 years and 9 people dying is quite significant in just that small little pocket. On top of that, 52 veterinary cases, which included cats, dogs, ferrets, sheep, elk, horses, goats, and many others that I weren't able to mention or pronounce.
Not the goats.
Not the goats.
Not the goats.
52 cases were reported to the CDC from California, Hawaii, Oregon, and Washington.
Yeah.
So that is just like within those 7 years following 2008. I will link the article reporting all that in the description for this episode. But I thought that was really fascinating that the director felt inspired to talk about be empowered from like a real life incident to, make a horror movie about this, because like this shit does happen and like people don't talk about it enough, I don't feel like. And water is like the one thing that like should be safe. Like, we let our kids swim in it. We drink from the tap, like even bottled water. Like people think, oh, we're safe if we drink bottled water. The bottled water had to come from somewhere. I'm sorry to burst that bubble. But usually it comes from your local, resources. So the bottled water is basically just special tap water in a plastic bottle. And like, it's very scary to think that the one thing that you should have access to readily is safe, uncontaminated water. And there's been so many instances where that's not the case.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's ripe for like a scary setting, right? Because it's like it's summer. It's a really like all American, idyllic kind of town. Like people are celebrating 4th of July without a care in the world. Like nobody's going to be like worried about having some like drinking some water or jumping into the water or splashing each other. So like, again, if you did it right, like, that can be very scary and you can actually build good tension with that. I don't necessarily think there was a lot of tension built in this movie.
No. Now,
but if you did, it could be really scary.
They definitely have the potential for something great here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I agree.
Now, there were some things the movie did do right. Like, I think we can all agree some of the kills were super gory, lots of fun.
Yeah.
Some of the makeup effects for the rashes and the boils were really fun. So, like, let's talk more about, like, things we liked. Because, like, we could sit here all night long and tear apart this movie. Because, like, it's not a great movie. Let's be real. It's not. It's definitely not. But there are some good aspects to it. So, like, let's talk about that. Who wants to start?
I'll start. Again, like going off of what you said, I think like the special effects work was actually really cool. Like nothing is like we're all horror people. So we've all seen like much gorier things. Yeah. That being said, like I thought some kind of highlight moments were I mean, the blisters and boils look great overall. I really liked my favorite like special effects moment was when the reporter and the camera guy find the body. The face, like the mouth is all like gone, and like the guy opens his eyes, you know, like that I thought was like gnarly looking. It was great. I also thought it was a nice moment when we first see anybody who's like impacted by it. It's the woman at the event where she's like, help me, somebody needs to take me to the hospital. I thought that was actually a really cool moment because it was like, whoa, what is happening right now? I don't understand exactly what's going on. So I thought they did a good job with kind of bringing us into that. So yeah, I did like the special effects. I thought all of that was good. Like I said, it's hard to follow the characters. There's so many, it's hard to get invested. But if I had to pick somebody, I will have to say that the doctor at the hospital is a real one, okay?
Yeah.
He stays there. He's trying to get to the bottom of things. Like he's desperately trying to help like this community. He's like working on like 300 people. Like he's talking to the CDC, and of course they're the government, so they're not like moving with the kind of speed and urgency that is needed here. Even when he's told, you know, you need to like just evacuate and like, you know, get out of there, he stays behind because he's like, well, I have people dying here. Like I can't just do that. So I will say I did connect with him a little bit. You know, it's hard to connect with anybody, but he is a real one. Like, definitely like a good guy in this movie. So I liked that. I will also say that I did like the isopods. I thought like that was kind of fun. They're gross for sure, and isopods are like a real thing that impact fish. So I thought that was kind of fun I liked that they were like parasitic and like we're eating people from the inside out. Like
that was cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Again, there's things you could have done like to make it even cooler, but just conceptually, what a cool like monster for people to be infected with is something that eats you from the inside out.
Yeah.
Like horrible to think about.
For sure. Yeah.
So I liked it as a thought, you know, and as an idea, and it is like that's a scary thought to have like parasites devour you and your organs,
especially in a town that relies so heavily on fishing and seafood. Like that's primarily like what they ate. There's like, and a lot of their economy is based off that too. So it's like you're not only swimming in it, you're not only drinking it, you're also eating it.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. And they have a lot of tourism, you know, for their 4th of July event. And that's not a great look for your 4th of July event.
No.
The mayor from Jaws knows all about that.
I was just going to say, I think like we just covered a movie on this podcast where a mayor goes through a similar, you know, little issue.
Sure did. Yeah. What a great time everybody was having though. I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Ethan? Yeah. I mean, honestly, other than what Jamie just said, I can't think of anything else that I thought was anything good in this movie. The special effects I did like. And I will say, the doctor, I don't think he did a good job acting. But
fair.
I do like the fact that they had the doctor, you know, be like what an actual doctor should do and be like, I'm not leaving. I'm staying here to the very end. He's like, I'm going to make this tape because if I don't make it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want this to come out, but I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving my people. So yeah, that I did like.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That I did like, but he didn't do a good job doing it. But
yeah, I mean, he wasn't great.
He wasn't great, but I'm glad that they.
But I appreciate him.
Yeah, but I appreciated that they had him do that.
The CDC, the guy that played the CDC doctor dude, I'd seen him in other things before, and he always plays that scumbag like law officer type
authority guy. Authority who's like not there for the good of the people.
Exactly. He's usually
all about the bureaucracy.
Exactly. He usually plays like an internal affairs officer. So I was like, okay, like we know what you're up to. Yeah. And like, I'm so used to seeing him play the same thing. So I was just like, okay, like I know what I'm going to get from you. Like you're a good actor and everything with that. Hi, everybody. Just wanted to thank all of you guys for listening and supporting the podcast. If you haven't already, please follow us, like us, leave us a review. Little things like this can really help the podcast out so much. Also, if you want to hear your name mentioned in our episodes at the beginning, and receive fun little goodies from the entire Bloody Essentials team, you can join our Patreon. It's 100% like no commitment. All the proceeds go back into the podcast. It helps us upgrade our recording equipment, our editing software, all those good things. And it also helps pay for our travel expenses with our upcoming appearances. So that can add up really fast, but we're looking to hopefully expand to other conventions and, going to other states to see spooky attractions. So funds like that will help significantly. Also, I don't know if you guys know, but before we can actually like start receiving funds through YouTube and things like that, as horror creators, we need at least 500 followers on YouTube. So if you aren't already following us, but you listen to us and you really like our content, please like us, subscribe. It really helps out so much, and it allows us to keep doing what we're doing. So we love bringing horror to you each week, whether it's content creators, our thoughts on a film. So we really want to keep doing this for as long as possible. And money is unfortunately a big way to stay on top of that. So like I said, all of your support really means a lot, and you get fun little goodies from all of us. We got Bloody Essentials merch, we got horror goodies that we've been saving for you guys, whether it's stickers, horror collectibles, like I'm talking like shirts from your favorite horror companies, Fright Rags, all those good places. And then of course we've got some NECA figures and all those kinds of things. So if you want to receive fun horror goodies from your Bloody Essentials crew, join our Patreon. It's going to be a really good time. We also have a Discord channel and unedited episodes before they air. So that's always exciting. And we're hoping to be doing movie parties really soon. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, just thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll get back to the show now. But yeah, like that was good. I thought that the dialogue between those two characters were interesting, between the doctor and the CDC officer, especially when he was like, you need to just think of yourself and get out. And he was like, no, like
not gonna do
there
that.
are people that are dying here, and I'm the only one that's going to help them.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, dude, you can't help them. It's too late.
Also, like, I mean, yes, like, good on you for like wanting to stay back and help the people. Also, like, how many like exposures have you had by this point? Like,
Yeah.
I think like you've significantly been exposed to the parasites, and it's kind of inevitable what is going to happen to you at some point in this evening.
Right. You're gonna wake up dead.
Yeah.
You're gonna see bugs coming out of your tummy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I did like the tummy like gurgles that we had at one point where somebody's like, ah! And like the stomach was all like, oh.
You know what? You know what the bugs reminded me of? They're. I know, Ethan, you won't get it because you haven't seen it because you're behind. But the Mummy, the beetles from the Mummy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they also come at you from the inside. They weasel their way in and they eat you from the inside out. And so gross. I don't know. Like, this movie's good. It's got some really cool conceptual things. I would personally love to see Eli Roth remake it. Not do found footage, but like, let's see Eli Roth get crazy with it.
Cabin
like, that was
style.
fucking awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Like some cabin fever shit. Like, let's see some body horror, because like we could really amp this shit up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like the boils and the rash, like that was cool. But like, I want to see people like attacking each other over this crap.
Yes.
Like, that'd be fun.
Yeah, we get a little hint of that kind of at the very end, but not really, with like how the people who were alive. But oh my god, if they made it gorier and did it as like a straight narrative and not found footage, I think they could do a lot more with it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Now, I do think that this could have been successful as found footage. I will say that, but the voiceover narration and just how it was edited together just was not successful. So if they were to ever remake this, I would prefer no found footage. So
agreed.
Yeah,
totally.
I did have one more fun fact I wanted to throw out there for you guys, and I thought we could discuss it. I have some thoughts. So the director Barry Levinson, he was approached to do a documentary about the Chesapeake Bay prior to this film. To prepare, he watched another documentary that focused specifically on pollution and the lack of fish currently in the bay at the time of this movie, so like 2008. He said it was a really great film, but he said that because it's a documentary, no one's going to care. So he decided to use horror as a platform to tell a real story, a real issue that is going on in the world, which kudos to him, because we love horror movies that talk about real world issues, right?
Sure.
It's just the execution really fell flat. And I think that if people didn't care about that documentary, they really didn't care about this one, which is such a shame.
Correct.
Because it's such a serious issue that's happening. And like, I'm sure so many communities are being affected by this, even still, especially still. But yeah, it's just such a shame that like this movie wasn't better, because it had so many opportunities.
Yeah, again, it's
definitely
got
good potential.
Yeah. It's based on real things that are scary and terrifying. So it's like, that should be, that's like good stuff to work with.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, I just think like the execution wasn't really well done. And yeah, found footage was maybe not the best way to present it.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
I get why they did it. I get it, because if you think about like other found footage like Cloverfield, it can be really effective to see like something unfolding in a big way, like to a large group of people through different like snapshots basically of people who are experiencing it in real time. But again, it was too like too choppy,
hose,
too
bouncy. Yeah, exactly. With Cloverfield, what made Cloverfield so good is that we had like 20 minutes to really get to know these characters before shit just went down. And on top of that, like, yeah, we saw what was going on with other people, but like you just saw like the camera turn and like, oh, that person just got picked up by the monster. And then like we're continuing on. Like, and like, yeah, you saw some reporters like reporting on the events, but like, boom, gone. Like, like we didn't dwell on that shit. We focused on one linear story. And by the end of it, you really cared about this couple. You knew they weren't going to make it, like, let's be real, but like you really cared about them. And in this, it's like there was no one to root for.
Exactly.
And that's the downfall of this film. So I will say I have one final thought. First off, I love the lobster eating contest or whatever it was where they all started vomiting. That was really fun.
Right.
That's like when it first really started. Yeah. And I also love when a film starts out with something and then brings it back at the end. So I remember there was an interview at the very beginning of the film where it was like the pageant queen, the crustacean. Miss Crustacean. She was doing an interview about how like it was such an honor or whatever, and like her family.
And everybody wanted to be that.
Yeah, exactly. And then at the end, like you saw her dead body and her beautiful dress just like laying there. And I was like, that is a good callback. I love when movies do that so much. Yes. But like,
I did enjoy that.
There's just bits and pieces that worked, and then a lot of it just didn't, and it's such a shame. So
see, Eli Roth, the movie started shitty, and it ended shitty, and everything in between it was shitty. So,
there's a few things that worked.
No, there were a couple of things. There were
a few things that was like it was really good, but like I won't rewatch it after this, which. Like I said, like it's a shame, but like I would love to see somebody do something similar to this. Like give us some eco horror, because I feel like we're really lacking in that department lately.
Thank you.
And I totally love your idea of Eli Roth doing this.
Oh, he would be perfect.
That would be awesome.
He would be perfect.
So
for
good.
This. Yeah.
That would disturb. That would make people like not want to go in the water for a little bit for sure.
If anybody could do it, it'd be Eli.
Yeah. Hear us, Eli Roth, do something with this. I do have to say there were like some little inconsistencies about how the parasite worked though, that really, really bugged me, like irked me. I have to say,
no pun intended.
Okay, so there's like a point where the mayor takes a big old drink of the water, but he never gets infected. Like what? And then we got the guy in the couple, he just got a little in his mouth from like jumping in the water, being pushed in the water, and he gets it like bad. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How does this work exactly? The mayor took a big ol' like, showy kind of like, and again, I really think that I would have been much happier. Well, maybe not much happier. I would have been happier if the mayor really, really got it. He should have got infected like more than anybody else. He should have had bugs like popping out of every part of
eyeballs, every orifice. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, because he is the one who basically, honestly, he's the one who put the town in danger he's the one who was like, yeah, do what you need to do to ensure that we can have more chicken farming here. And we're not really regulating like how that runoff is handled, or we're not like doing anything to counter what this facility is doing. So he's the one who kind of put them in danger, and he's being showy, and he's being like, okay, the bacteria increases, when it's the summer. So if you're, sensitive to bacterias, then, maybe stay out of the water. And it's like, okay, that's not what's happening here. So he should have had bugs like blasted out of him, and he drank a ton of water.
He did. I also think it depends on like how long your exposure has been. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, and also like horror science and movie science are like, they never make sense.
Yeah, their math wasn't mathing.
It wasn't, and it's
no.
It's like the more you try to explain something, the less it usually makes sense. And I feel like they shouldn't have like dwelled too much on like how it happened. Like, yeah, mention it'd be really cool. Like I've seen it done before where you have like disease type contagion things where you be like, oh, we got the chicken runoff. Oh, we got this, we got that. But you never really know what caused it because like the more you try to explain it, the less it makes sense. So like leave it up to the audience to figure it out. Like it's not your business to explain why, it's to show us what happens from it. Like, I don't care why. I want to see the horror. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Show me the horror.
It's a pretty considering like how much like chaos and people this thing killed, it sure seems like they ended things pretty easily. They're just like, well, close off the town, fill that bay with chlorine, and we're good now.
Yeah, I was like, chlorine just knocked these things out. Are you kidding me? Like, oh, and now there's just no fish in the bay. Like, shut up. There's no way chlorine killed these things. There's no way.
They're supposed to be these genetically modified, because the chickens were on steroids. They briefly mentioned that. But I'm like, that just, it seemed like, and I get it, the government took all the video and stuff, so we only have limited details, but it's like, to me, it was just kind of like that's it. We had this horrible thing happen and we just chlorine the place, and
they should have just
been got a settlement and it's good.
Yeah. Right. What they should have done would have been like, oh, like this part of like all of the GPS of this city doesn't exist anymore. Like if you try to go here, there's nothing on the map saying that there's a town that was ever there. Like just leave it at that. Don't say that the government fixed anything, because let's be real, they never would and they never have. And like, no, chlorine does not kill these types of bacteria. And like, no, just it'd be really cool to just be like, the town never existed. Like if you try to go there, you can't. There's government agents like blocking it off, because that's more realistic than the chlorine.
Yeah. Or it's like, Chernobyl,
exactly.
Where it's like, it's there, but like it's fenced off, it's not really something you can access, that kind of thing. But like, it's not like people live there anymore.
Right. Exactly. Because they're dead. Like, it could have been, we've talked enough about that. Let's talk about, do you have any other fun facts, Jamie, you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I do. So, you talked about, kind of where the ideas and concepts for this movie came to be. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a whole lot of facts in here, but I did my best to find a couple other ones. That's really about it. But I will say, this was just like a weird technical thing. There was weird little technical inconsistencies, like with the technology that some of the people were using when it was supposed to be 2009 or 2008, 2009 or 2008. Like somebody's FaceTiming and that came like 2010, I was reading. Right. Little things like that. Fun fact, there aren't sheriffs in municipalities in Maryland, so people who would have responded would have actually been like municipal police or county.
That makes sense. Yeah. Small
That's the little
town.
thing,
Yeah.
exactly. Isopods are real. The parasites that these were based on, they're real, and they do eat the tongues of fishes. So that's where the tongue thing comes from. And some of the images you see in the movie, those are real images, of fish with isopods. That's how they look.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is how they look. I have seen pictures of these before.
Okay.
So they are real. I will say, and maybe this is part of why the look is the way that it is. Apparently, according to the internet, about 1/3 of the film was shot by actors. So handheld cameras.
Okay.
That makes me think less of this movie.
Yeah.
My rating
so
literally just decreased as you said that.
Yeah, so apparently 1/3 of the footage in there was like handheld by actors who were in it. Because they're like, that works. That's the look we're going for, and it works.
No.
So
anybody can shake a camera around, okay? Like,
and they sure the hell did.
They definitely did. That just breaks my heart because it's like, okay, yeah, it doesn't take much to hold a camera, but it's like, if you don't know what you're doing, like the camera is the storyteller, so that's stupid.
Yeah. Another thing that I thought was interesting, I'm not sure when the director mentioned this, but in talking about this movie and kind of continuing some of his inspiration and things he was thinking about, he had mentioned, thinking about like he thought found footage was an interesting way to kind of like tell a story about like a widespread kind of thing happening to community. And he was just kind of like pondering. He's like, think about Pompeii, if that happened in modern times. We would have all this, we would be seeing all these like little clips from people and putting it all together of how that actually went down. He's like, so just imagine that in modern times. He's like, I thought that was interesting. So just another thing he was kind of thinking about as he was putting this together.
Yeah. I mean, that's a real thing that a lot of us have seen. Like we've seen disasters happen.
Sure.
Whether it's, natural or otherwise. And it's like, that's a real thing that we live with now. So yeah, that was a thought. I remember that being a thought when people were like talking about FaceTime and all this stuff coming out, like growing up, like I was in college, but like, shut up, Ethan.
I said nothing,
but I felt it. But like, I remember people having conversations about, oh, like technology's changing. And like, this is like, we're always going to have documentation of things. And like, that is what is fascinating about found footage, but like, you have to do more with it. You can't just wave cameras around and expect it to be an effective story. So like, I think with found footage, you really need a really good director and you really need a good cinematographer, and you especially need a good editor. And unfortunately, they were at least lacking 2 out of those 3. I won't say he's a bad director because I think I've seen other films of his that were good. So
he's done some pretty big other movies. Like I feel like this was like definitely a different foray for him. Like this is not the kind of movie that this guy usually does.
Yeah, he's definitely done some other good movies, but like cinematography and editing, like non-existent in this movie. And it's a shame because I know that there's a good movie in there somewhere. So
yeah, like we said, there's great core concepts. They just didn't execute it well. Like, again, I even think they could have done it effectively as a found footage. I would prefer it as a straight narrative, but like, I think they could have done it effectively as a found footage if they stripped out some of the bullshit, like some of the side stuff, some of the side characters. Again, I think you could eliminate some of those kind of side things.
For sure. Yeah.
And be a little bit more like intentional with like, I don't know, kind of like who your human villain is, right? Because it's supposed to be like the mayor, it's supposed to be like authorities basically, but it's really kind of like half-assed like the way that they do it. So it's like, I mean, come on, really at the heart of this, like all monster movies, it's man who's the real monster, right?
Absolutely.
But you're not giving that to us. Like you have to be more intentional with man is the real monster here.
You really got to hammer it home. Like occasionally I don't like it when people do this, but I really like it in these types of situations. Like beat the audience over the head. Like these people are the monsters because they created this mess. Yeah, exactly. And it just wasn't done. So it is what it
Right.
is. Yeah. All right, let's get into rating this movie, shall we?
Sure.
All right, Ethan.
All right. Believe you should take care of the environment.
Absolutely.
100%. Don't pollute, all that good stuff. Rock on.
Yeah.
See where you were going with that. Horrible execution. I think if you want to watch the documentary, it would be more interesting.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It probably would be.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It would be more
so.
interesting. This movie totally sucked, in my opinion. It was horrible. I mean, it had some, the special effects were good, but the movie on a whole, it sucked. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I will never watch it again. I will never recommend it to anyone. It's terrible. I'm going to give it like 1.5.
Damn, I think that's the lowest you've ever given a movie.
Whoop whoop! Our lowest rating yet, I think. Yeah.
The lowest one yet. But okay, maybe I'll give it a 2 because there was some good gore in it.
No.
Spoke your
I'm gonna go
mouth.
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
This is a milestone moment, okay? We are sticking with the 1.5. You heard it. You heard it here, guys, on the 4th of July.
That's right.
Terrible. Happy birthday, America.
Well, yeah.
America's like opening up this gift, being like, "What did I do to Ethan?" Nah.
No, they know.
Just kidding.
Ethan loves them.
I know.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Ethan, I love you so much, and I love your review.
Thank you.
I always love your honesty, so thank you for being honest.
No problem.
No problem. I'll say
No
it again.
problem at all.
The movie sucks. As I've said before, and we've all said before, like there's some great concepts in this movie, but it's not enough to redeem the movie. And I'll repeat what Ethan said. Like again, like I'm so sorry I recommended this movie to you guys. I will never rewatch it unless like somebody wants to see it. I'm like, all right, fine. Like I won't be opposed to rewatching it if somebody really genuinely wants to see it.
Oh, I will. I'll be like, watch that shit by yourself.
You're like, hell no.
I'm like,
we ain't doing that over here.
well, listen, like nobody
Not
in my
this
life,
house.
nobody in my life likes found footage except me, so it probably won't happen. So
Okay.
we'll just go ahead and say, like, I probably won't ever rewatch it. I definitely won't be recommending it unless somebody like genuinely is like, give me some found footage shit, and I'm like, all right,
I got
definitely that last part.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bad movie. Like there were some great things in it, but like it flopped, and it flopped bad, dude.
Like a
Flopped
fish
bad.
filled with parasites.
Yeah,
I love that.
great. Unfortunately, panic feeds on fear. I needed more fear. I saw lots of panic, not enough fear, and yeah, that's where you lost me. So with that being said, I'm going to give it probably like a 3.
Okay.
And that's the lowest I've ever given a movie. So, Jamie?
Yeah, well, I'm usually the person who's like, hey, it was a shit movie, give it an 8, I tell you guys, my
Switzerland
stamp of
cracking?
approval is good, okay, on stuff. I don't just love everything, I just kind of love everything. This movie, however, I didn't actually even kind of love.
Yay!
I can't go higher than anybody in here. I'm also gonna give it a 3. Not anything more. I like some found footage. I'm very picky about them. All the reasons that you guys said, it just wasn't well done.
Yeah.
There's even better bad movies that I would. There's like thousands of other bad movies that I would enjoy watching more than this one.
For sure.
Again, it's sad to me that like eco terror, like this isn't the worst one that I've probably seen, and that's saying something. Give us more solid eco terror. Like, please give us a good one.
Please.
Yes. I'm looking at you, Victor Gabriel.
Yes.
That
Victor could do that well.
Victor could. Victor, if you're listening, and I'm sure you are, come on, dude. Like, that would be a great next feature film.
Because imagine how fun it would be to see like scumbags who made decisions that put the whole town at risk because they just wanted to profit, you know, to see them really get their comeuppance by something that is ecological, you know, that you can't really stop per se, or you don't know how to stop, especially if it's like body horror and it's inside of you. Like, that would be so fun to watch. If it was done well, it would give you the, like, make you like your stomach turn if it was done right.
Absolutely.
In the best way.
Yes.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Yeah. So that is the Bay, and that'll be the last time you'll ever hear us talk about that, I hope.
Oh, no, we'll still say it sucked on other podcasts.
Yeah. I was going to say, unless we're talking about sucky things or shitty things, where we're just like, hey guys, just throw something out there that's shitty, and we're like, the Bay.
Yeah. I think we've reached a new low of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited about this for us. I think
I'm
this
actually
is our lowest
not
rated.
mad at it.
Right?
Yeah.
I think this is our lowest rated movie ever, and I think that's worth celebrating. If you got a big glass of contaminated water, sip that up right now, because
Chicago tap water, baby.
because that is awesome. Like, congratulations, guys, we did it.
Right?
We thought this movie sucked. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, like, listeners too, like, if you enjoyed like hearing us talk about like a movie that we all disliked, we can probably all come up with some movies that we might all dislike, and we can do this again. So if you did enjoy that, let us know, because I've got some brewing in my head where I'm like, that might be kind of hilarious and awesome for us.
Yeah, that might be fun.
I definitely have some thoughts.
And viewers, if you think that we are all wrong, and you think that the Bay was great, and we've all lost our freaking minds, and we're all full of shit, let us know why.
Yeah, because this is America. And in America, you have freedom to voice those opinions.
Correct. Yeah. Even if they're wrong.
Exactly.
So, and in this case, they will be. So.
No, we still like to hear from you.
Oh God, yeah, we want to hear from you because we want to tell you why you're wrong. So
yes. Yes. Well, happy birthday, America.
Yes.
We may not always agree. We agree on this, but we may not always agree on other movies. We may not always agree on everything. But when we get together, we can do some pretty awesome things.
That's true.
Yeah, I love that.
Absolutely. Now, just remember, y'all, this 4th of July, if you find yourself at some contaminated pool water, if you taste something a little fishy during your seafood fest, never have sex.
Don't do drugs or drink the water.
Yeah.
And certainly don't die, y'all. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.